I have always been a very patriotic and proud American. I love talking to young people about government. I'm always pushing public service for people and how important it is to serve your country. What you can't have any argument for is the United States engaging in torture.
The torture is really an attack on everything that is a human being.
In both domestic and international law, torture is not in a category by itself. It's not as if torture is one thing and cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment is something else. What is prohibited is cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment, under which torture is only the most extreme example.
But what the human rights groups have been able to piece together so far is that we've tortured to death probably 8 people at least.
Over the course of the summer of 2002, and the fall actually of 2002, a number of new techniques were introduced and approved. And these new techniques included nakedness, hooding, long periods of isolation, the use of dogs to threaten individuals.
Severe sensory deprivation, personal humiliation, religious humiliation where sacred objects, Muslim objects, were desecrated.
We've snatched people off the street and taken them to secret prisons or to other countries where we anticipate that they will torture them for information.
Exposure to ear-splitting or terrifying or deeply disturbing noise.
The more intense techniques, which were debatable at the time, were waterboarding, and the use of threats against one's family's members.
And sometimes all of this was put together. You know, techniques 3 and 8 would be tried, and then 3, 8, and 12, and then a break, and then 7 others. And so it was both the techniques and the combination of the techniques.
But for religious people, again, the specialness of human beings in the sight of God, in the sight of religious teachings, is unparalleled, and there's nothing which degrades more vigorously than torture.
Right from the time of the Revolutionary War, clearly stated by George Washington, we will not abuse, treat inhumanely any prisoners that our army takes. Even though, even at that time, the Hessians had in fact abused American prisoners. So it's from the beginning, with the American military, it has been established that we will not take any action that looks like torture.
When our colleagues abroad told me that no longer could they depend on the United States to protect, I was ashamed, and in fact found that it was worse, that now their governments sometimes said to them, places like Egypt and so forth, was now that they were doing what the U.S. wanted them to do. So instead of being the major break to torture in the world, we became the accelerator.
The damage that this has caused America's reputation is huge. It's going to take a while before that goes back to where it was.
There are countries that openly say the United States has no moral standing to lecture anybody on human rights. The United States was booted off the Human Rights Commission of the United Nations.
There are 3 acts that are completely illegal in any country in the world under international law, for which there can be no exceptions, and that's slavery, genocide, and torture.
It's an issue about the soul of America. What is America? You know, who are Americans? What do we stand for?
This is a fundamental threat to the Republic. And I think that the future of American democracy is hanging in the balance.
And also I believe that the United States has the ability to correct itself, to be able to move beyond this.
Issues can simultaneously be policy issues, security issues, military issues, and moral issues. And I joined the many others in this country who believe that it's all of that torture is a moral issue.
I wish I didn't know it. So I felt like now that I know it, I have to do something. I have to.